Well, good evening and hello whenever you are watching this. If you're watching it live in my Facebook group tonight, welcome and thank you for joining. Tonight, I want to focus a little bit about healthy aging and longevity. And I think at the end of the day, that's what we're all aiming to achieve. We're all trying to follow a lifestyle that helps us stay healthy, live well into older age, reduce the need for medications, and do whatever we can to keep our body functioning well and staying well and healthy. Of course, there are many aspects to consider, but tonight I wanted to focus on a really crucial compound that few people know about, and I want to explain why it's so important in this whole concept of healthy aging and longevity, because there's so much research going into this area. I want to talk about CoQ10, or full name Coenzyme Q10, and what it is, what it does in the body, and why there's an increasing interest in it, why we start to lack it as we get older, and why we might want to think about supplementing it. And I know in an ideal world, we get everything we need from natural sources, and that's great if we can, but sometimes there may be a need to go above and beyond and think about supplements. And unfortunately, in my view, for absolute optimal health, and therefore in terms of really staying healthy and this concept of longevity, which to me is about being as healthy as you can into old age and not being reliant on having medications and chronic disease, we may well need to focus more and more about certain supplements that are going to support us achieve that as we age. So coenzyme Q10, now this is a substance that is made naturally in the body. However, as with most things in life, as we age, the natural production of coenzyme Q10 starts to decline. There are other reasons why we may be lacking coenzyme Q10. We can obtain it from certain foods, which I will go on to talk about. But if you are vegetarian, if you're vegan, then you won't be getting the richest sources of CoQ10 from plant-based foods. The other interesting point that most people I come into contact with, and my clients are unaware of, is that those who take statins block the very pathway that is required to make CoQ10 naturally in the body. So, of course, if you're taking a statin with the intention of looking after, healthy heart, cardiovascular disease, I will explain why, if you're lacking coenzyme Q10, how that could be not keeping your heart as healthy and efficient as you want it to be. So a lot of interesting information with regards to statins. And when I meet clients on statins, I do talk about the need to supplement coenzyme Q10 in that instance. Now, there are two key areas in the body why we need coenzyme Q10, and it's linked to health and longevity. The first one is to do with its antioxidant protection and role, and its role in neutralizing free radicals, which I'll talk about briefly, explain simply to you. And the other one is its role in energy production. Of course, we are only here and surviving and living because the body can produce energy. Everything we do, I'm sitting here and I can see myself blinking. Everything we do, enabling me to speak, to breathe, for the heart to beat, for muscles to move, everything required in our cells and throughout our body and our tissues requires energy. And coenzyme Q10 has a very important role in the energy production cycle. So let's talk about that first of all. Energy production in the body is very, very complex. Energy is produced predominantly in these little organelles within our cells called mitochondria. Now, it's the mitochondria that has this massive growing interest around our health and healthy aging, and the fact that damaged mitochondria are linked to oxidative stress and chronic disease in the body. So mitochondria is the key thing I'm talking about tonight, linked to coenzyme Q10. So energy production, we produce these units of energy called ATP, And this is enhanced and supported by having this, this compound called coenzyme Q10 in the energy production cycle. So if we are lacking coenzyme Q10, we are more inefficient, I should say, at producing energy. And a lack of energy and through the mitochondria is linked to chronic disease, such as cardiovascular disease, such as dementia. I'm not saying they are the only reasons for it, but they are linked to it. So we have to produce energy, and some cells have thousands of mitochondria, very typically the muscle cells, because of course the muscles are burning a lot of energy to make them move. And your heart is a muscle pumping blood, oxygen and nutrients around the body. So the heart is a muscle. The muscle cells have thousands of mitochondria, and therefore you need a lot of CoQ10 in the muscles to keep the heart functioning really well, which is why statins that lower coenzyme Q10 production in the body can have an influence on the ability for the heart to be working really, really well. The second thing where we need coenzyme Q10 is as its role as a potent antioxidant. So let me just break that back a little bit. When we are producing energy and metabolism in the body, we are burning glucose in the mitochondria. Now, every time we produce energy in the body, we produce free radicals. Free radicals are harmful, damaging compounds that, if left alone, damage our cells, damage our tissues, and damage those mitochondria. So it's a bit ironic, the mitochondria produce the energy, but by producing energy, we create these things called free radicals that are very harmful to the body. Now, all is not lost, because we have compounds in the body which are known as antioxidants. Oxidation is creating the free radicals. Antioxidants, what they do is they neutralize those harmful free radicals. So I will have spoken in the past about things like vitamin C, vitamin E, minerals like zinc and selenium. These are some of the common, well-known antioxidants, and they work in this complex antioxidant cycle that I don't need to go into, just to understand that they all work synergistically together. We can't just have high levels of vitamin C and not need to worry about the rest of them. We need all of them. Some of them are fat soluble, some of them are water soluble. They work in different areas in the intra and extracellular matrix. We need all of them to work together to protect the body from what we call this oxidative stress, where we get an excess of free radicals and not enough antioxidants to neutralize and quell the damage that they can cause. So everything is great if we've got plenty of antioxidants, so that, and if you think about scales, that the free radicals are not getting out of hand compared to the amount of antioxidants we've got. We need it in balance, or we need plenty of antioxidants to stop the damage from these free radicals. Now, coenzyme Q10 is a potent antioxidant, so it has a very important role in stopping this cellular damage and damaging those important mitochondria. So hopefully you can see here that, coming back to the mitochondria, they produce the energy that helps us function and stay well, and we need those mitochondria to stay undamaged to keep producing that energy. And in both aspects of that, we need coenzyme Q10. Now, I said at the start that as we age, our levels of coenzyme Q10 start to decline. If we are following a vegetarian diet, we don't get high levels. And if we're on statins, we are also going to be restricting the amount of coenzyme Q10 that the body is able to produce, because statins can block the pathway for the production of coenzyme to occur naturally in the body. So we need to think about where we can get coenzyme Q10 from our food. The richest sources are in organ meats, kidney and liver. Now, do you eat these foods? They have been in decline over the years. Not many people want to eat these foods anymore, but they are very rich sources of coenzyme Q10. The other richest sources of coenzyme Q10 is in our oily fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, a little bit in trout. Are you eating oily fish? Are you eating oily fish 3 times a week? If you're vegetarian or vegan, you won't be eating organ meat, you won't be eating oily fish. We move down the chain in terms of the amount of coenzyme Q10 in foods. We move on to other meats, chicken, pork, and beef. And then we go further down. So some plant foods, cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower will contain a little bit. Pulses, nuts and seeds will also contain a little bit, but in very, very small quantities, and most likely in not nearly enough as we get older, as our natural production declines, to provide the amount of coenzyme Q10 to keep those mitochondria functioning really well in terms of stopping them getting damaged and producing the energy that we need. So if you're not eating these foods, I strongly recommend supplementation. Now, coenzyme Q10 is quite an expensive supplement to buy. I recommend you think about 100 milligrams as a minimum to be taken if you're older, if you're vegetarian or vegan, and or if you're taking statins. And if it's a combination of all three of those, and often we get older and taking statins, they come together, don't they? Then you really must be thinking about taking the supplement. And 100 milligrams is the level. You can get lower, you can get higher, but 100 milligrams, there are different formulations. The one to look out for when you read the packet, the box, the packaging to do with your supplement is to look for ubiquinol. Now, ubiquinol is the active form in the body, and it's most well absorbed from the gut and into the bloodstream. So ubiquinol is the active form of coenzyme Q10. That's what I'd look for. And I'd look to take it at about 100 milligrams on a daily basis. If you're young, if you're full of energy, not on statins, then you may not need to take it. It's as we're getting older, if you feel you've got some sort of chronic disease, worried about dementia, if you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, and if you're on statins, then this is the time to be thinking about supplementation to really support your body to age well and help with this concept of longevity, where there's so much interest in this field. So thank you for watching tonight. Hope you've enjoyed it. As always welcome and value feedback and comments, and always add comments below this in my Facebook group, if that's where you're watching it, or indeed in my YouTube channel, about other topics that you would like to hear me talk about. Have a great week, everybody, and see you next week.